Welcome to a new video on how to create automatic train traffic on any EEP layout. And we are happy to introduce software version 2.3. Let's see what's in it. This new release is entirely focused around ease of use, and the first step with that is the inclusion of an EEP installer, which means no more moving around files. It will all go in 2 mouse clicks. Also included by default is the module BetterContacts, thanks to Benjamin Hogl to allow us to include this. What you can do with it and how you can benefit from it, please read that in the user manual, which by the way is entirely set up in a different way now, focused all around the Lua Code Generator. Everything is about how to make life easy, and well, why would we create routes and what turnouts to switch ourselves if this code generator can do this for us. And last but not least, there's a new demo layout called Peace River. It will be the subject of the next video. In this video, we'll have a look at how to create this layout and automate it, and we follow every step just as it is written down in the user manual. Well, the first step, of course, is to download the software. The link goes in the description. Once that's done, you should have an EEP block control.zip file in your download folder. There's no need to unzip it, just leave it be, this file, and fire up your EEP, because we are going to use the new install feature, and that goes by clicking model installer button over here, and then select the zip file and click it, and that opens this installer. There are 3 components. The components can be clicked on or off. Blue means on, blue means it is going to be installed. By default, install just all 3 modules. There's the Lua software, there's the BetterContacts module from Benjamin Hogl, and there are several demo layouts. Let's install it by clicking install. By the way, if you don't like the default folders where it is going to be installed, and that's all written down here in this description, you can still simply unzip the file and move all the files to the folders of your liking if you really want to differ from the default. Okay, we are done. Click OK and everything should be fine. Let's design a model railway. This drawing was made in Scarm, which is my personal favorite railway editor, but you can do it on a piece of paper or simply in your mind. To me, the fun of designing a model railroad is to think about how the traffic is going to be. On this layout, I'd like to drive it 3 trains, but not every train everywhere. What I like to do is have a passenger train, and in the stations it should drive right-handed, the clockwise train right-handed, and here at Station South it should have a scheduled waiting time. And then there's another passenger train. It drives clockwise and it also drives right-handed, which means it stays on this blue track, and also that train at Station South I like to have a scheduled waiting time. And then we have a cargo train, and that cargo train is going to shuttle between these 2 dead ends, which are supposedly an industry area. And it makes use at Station South solely of the middle track without a scheduled waiting time, which does not mean it never has to stop. If there is traffic in the curve, yeah, then obviously it has to wait, but there's no scheduled stop. This is what I like to design in EEP automated traffic. But first, of course, we have to lay the track. Well, this is it. In EEP I redesigned this layout, and this is the track. And also I added a couple of invisible tracks here because I want to have a location where I can place my main switch and an individual train switch, 3 pieces of them. So that was an easy step. The next step is to place signals and sensors, because what Lua is going to do is drive trains from block to block. And a block, that is a track, a section of the track where I want a train to stop, and it can only stop at a signal. So I place a signal. This is the dead end block for the cargo train. I place a signal at the end of that dead track. But for Lua to know that the train has entered this piece of track, I also place a contact, a sensor, in this case a sound sensor, just because that's a very nice color and it is an easy sensor. Inside this sensor we are going to place the Lua function call in a later step. Right now we don't have to do anything, just place this sensor. Here is a special block here at the middle of the south station. That is a two-way track, which means that we have a signal at both ends and also a sensor at both ends. It's as simple as that. And the Lua Code Generator is automatically going to take care of all of this. Here we see our main switch and 3 signals that are going to be used as individual train on-off switches. And then we have these 2 curves, and you may wonder, why didn't I make this a block? Well, simply because I don't want a train to ever stop there. If a train is driving on the curve, I always want it to drive on. So I don't need a signal there. But of course you could say, yeah, but I like a signal just for eye candy. I want to see that there's a signal here at the entry of the station that is red and that turns to green when the train arrives. Yeah, that can be done. You can place a signal here because this is a two-way track. You also need to place a signal over here. And then of course also a sensor over there and a sensor over there. And the Lua Code Generator will automatically take care of all of that and detect that it is a two-way track and so forth. So you can do that. It is not needed, but if you like it, just go ahead. So this is actually it for this step in the process. We have placed signals at every block where we want the train to stop, and we have placed sensors, contacts at the start of a block. Particularly this is a contact end of train. That is what you can play with. Do I need end of train or start of train to trigger the sensor? If there is opposing traffic, then end of train is always the safe choice. You want the tail of the train to be away from the turnouts before a train in the other direction may start. So the safe choice is end of train, but you can sometimes play a bit with it and select start of train. The next step is to place the trains. In this case, we wanted to have 3 trains, 2 passenger trains, clockwise and counterclockwise, and a cargo train. After placing a train, it is advisable to drive it to one of the signals, of course on a block where you want that train to be. Because then the code, the Lua code, will automatically detect the train, and also the code generator will automatically detect the train. So let's do an example. I click this lock and I give it a speed, let's say 40. It starts to drive. I have put this signal on red, so it has to stop. It is now caught by the signal, it is slowing down and it is going to stop, which means that the code generator now knows that this train is here. It is caught by this signal. That will automatically create the train table in our code. So we are done right now. We can save the layout via File, Save As, and then give it a name and remember in what folder you put it. That's all. I have already done it, so I'm going to cancel out. Now it is time to generate the Lua code for this specific layout. To generate the Lua code for this layout, we open the EEP Layout tool, link goes in the description, in our web browser. And we have a couple of language switches here. Let me put it on English. This is the Choose File button. There we click and then we are going to select our file. Somewhere on your disk you have just saved it, and now open it. And well, here it is. The file that we just created is now open. Over here we can toggle some switches that show more or less detail on what's in the layout. Of course we want to see the signals because they are the block numbers that we are going to need later when we design our train traffic. But first let's create the code, and that is done via another browser tab. Open a new browser tab and then open the code generator. Also that link of course goes in the description, and there we click this generate button and it automatically generates the code for this layout, and it also automatically saves it to the clipboard. So what we can do now is return to EEP. We are still in 3D mode. Open the script editor and there paste the code that you just generated. There we have it. And reload this script, and it is going to show us some pop-ups here, and it also shows that it is in find mode. Find mode is active and it has detected 3 trains after a short while. Yeah, that is correct. I drove those trains to the red signals, so Lua can detect them, and it just did. Isn't that wonderful? The next step is that we have reloaded the code, which means that it now also has generated the functions that it needs for its blocks. And inside these sensors, these contacts, we still need to write those functions. So let me zoom in a bit and show the contacts. I need sound contacts. Yeah. So every contact needs to have a Lua function call. So let me click this over here. And in that sensor, we need to paste this piece of code called block control dot enter block and underscore and then the number of the signal. The functions are already created, so they should be available, and we need to do this for each and every sensor. Yeah, that is a little bit of work on a large layout, but it is not difficult work, just don't forget any contact. I've opened the code here in Notepad++ just for an easier view and easier editing. What the code generator did for us, fully automatic, it found all 3 trains and placed them in a trains table, which is perfect, we need that. It found our main signal. It found all the blocks via the signals that we placed. It also saw that one of those blocks was a 2-way block. It did that fully automatic. We don't have to do anything ourselves. And it created all the routes and all the turnouts that need to be switched to reach the second block. And it also automatically detected that there are dead end blocks, so it has added the reverse is true code to automatically reverse the train over there. Well, this was all fun, but now we need to specify how we want to drive our trains, because Lua cannot know our intentions. It created a table for us, the allowed blocks, and it called that table all blocks, and it says every train is allowed in all blocks. That's not what we want. We want our trains to drive counterclockwise and clockwise and shuttle. So that is the creative work that we now have to do. What I know is that I have 3 different train traffics. So let me copy this line and paste it 2 times. And then let me rename this one to clockwise, and this one to counterclockwise, and this one to shuttle. That's the 3 routes I want to create. The steam engine I want to be counterclockwise. The orange train is running clockwise. And the blue, the cargo train, is the shuttle. So that's already done. What I need to figure out now is what are the correct blocks for these 3 different traffics. Let's have a look at our EEP Layout tool again. The clockwise train is driving on block 10, and then it goes to south and it goes to block 19, and there I want it to have a scheduled stop. Let's put that in here. Yeah, clockwise is allowed in block 10, not going to stop, and is allowed in block 19, going to stop 15 seconds. Well, that's not exactly 15 seconds stop. There's also the driving time from the contact to the signal that is included in this time. So if you want this to be accurate, you have to measure that time. Let's go to the counterclockwise train. The counterclockwise train is in block 13 and it is driving to block 8. And here in block 8 I want it to have a scheduled stop time. Let's do that, and here it is, counterclockwise, block 8 15 seconds and block 13 no stop time. Let's go to the shuttle train. The shuttle train is on 27 and then it goes to 9 and then it goes to 26 and then it goes to 18, and only in 27 and 26 it is going to get a scheduled waiting time. Okay, so let's put that in here. We have 9 no waiting time, 18 no waiting time. Those are the two-way blocks, which is also specified here. 9 and 18 are a two-way block. And then we have waiting time in 26 of 20 seconds and in 27 also of 20 seconds. That is how you design your traffic flow. We should be able to copy this now to our Lua window and then drive the trains. So let me do that. The only thing I need to copy is this part and go to my EEP app. Here we are. The Lua script editor is open in 3D view. I'm going to take away these trains and allowed blocks and paste the ones that I just created and then reload the script. It should find 3 trains again. Why not? Those trains are still where they were. Well, I think it's time to try it out and just put this main switch on. Let's do it. Shift click this switch. These 3 are the individual train switches, but they are already on. Hey, 2 trains are already driving. Yeah, that is from station north, where they did not have any waiting time. So that looks good. The orange train is nicely going right-handed. The steam engine is also nicely going right-handed. They have a scheduled waiting time of 15 seconds. We should be able to see that over here in the event window, where it says everything that is happening. Well, I think we did a great job. We can tap ourselves on the shoulder. It is working. The code was completely automatically generated, and all we did is modify the train table and the allowed blocks to create the traffic that we designed. In the next video we'll do the new layout called Peace River. Maybe see you back there, and in the meantime, of course, as always, have fun.